What are you thinking?
Well, obviously we weren't thinking clearly or doing anything that made sense. A lot of things you're doing on the fly. It was something that, an ill attempt at humor, offensive. If I was driving in my car, I would have thought, who came up with that? That's not funny. I would have been offended. And, obviously you walk a fine line between trying to be somewhat on the edge and making sure that you're tasteful enough. And we blew it. We blew it in a huge way. And I just want to apologize to Steve Gleason, to his foundation, to all the folks that were hurt by this. I mean, it was a ill-attempted humor that absolutely fell short, and the repercussions, are something that happens, when you're playing on that kind of edge.
You have been on the air for 18 years, with this station for 15, on air, and I'm just looking at you, and you're shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
Has this shaken you to the core?
Well, look, I'm used to coming to CNN to be commenting on folks. I'm not used to being a part of a story. So, of course it shakes you. I mean, look, it's not about feeling bad for what happened to us. I mean, the fact is, if you're going to...
I'm not saying I am. I'm just visibly noticing just how you
it's a nerve-wracking thing to have to be a part of. I'm not saying you feel bad for it. Point is, it's not a good 24 hours. It's a horrible 24 hours. And I feel awful about it. And it just is something that you just deeply regret and wish had never happened.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned sometimes you come up with things on the fly, you're doing radio. What's the backstory of this particular joke? How orchestrated was it?
Well, I mean, not to get into details too much. I mean, obviously, we didn't think this thing through, and it was a commercial break, and we had known that Steve Gleason had done an article for Peter King that appeared, which was a great piece, by the way, and anybody who knows my background knows a big connection to New Orleans and knowing a lot about that foundation. So we were kind of talking about the Peter King article and said...
This was in commercial break, before you guys came on.
In commercial break, within a few minutes. And then we decided to do a takeoff on that, which was stupid, which wasn't well thought out, and which we're truly sorry for. And but no, I'd hate to think that we had thought about this a long time and still came up with what we did, because that would really show a lot of ignorance.
I have to ask, though, I mean, was it the kind of thing where you deliver the joke, and in that moment, you immediately realized you had crossed the line, or was it only after the tweet, the phone calls, the firing, did you think that was wrong?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think anybody that's ever been in that situation knows right away. And a lot of it is, slowly, slowly starts to build. But I knew it wasn't funny. I mean, I knew it wasn't coming off as it was coming off.
So then why continue the joke?
Well, I mean, once, I think the whole thing was 2 minutes long. So, I mean, you're doing a radio bit. We've done, hundreds and hundreds of them over the years. And hopefully we've been, haven't had many that fall flat like this. And it's just something you shouldn't even go down that road. I mean, there's certain areas you got to be smarter about. And I understand the outrage. And I'm not going to sit here and justify any bit about the fact that, hey, that's part of what we do every day.
Listen, I know people